Okay, just grabbing my coffee and hopefully that's it. I had a little bit of a problem today just getting the camera set up, my phone camera. Really strange. I'm not quite sure why that was such a problem, but hopefully we are now live. I really hope so. So if you're there, just putting these things away because I don't need those. That was what I was doing this morning. If you're there, then do say hello. Just getting all my bits ready for today. Okay. I don't think I haven't got the papers out, but never mind. You can see the colours, which is the only important thing today. Oh dear. Right, so welcome everybody. Do let me know if you're watching and where you're from so that I can see. What does that mean? Oh, hello Margaret. Hi, nice of you to pop in. Hopefully we'll have some more joining me in a minute. Oh, everything's fallen over here. Don't know why. I'm going to finish my coffee before we do anything else. How are things? I've got some really good cards for us to make on Thursday. I was going to make you've got a choice of making a box. People who want to can make a box. Because I've got a really nice box, the one I made in the blog last Friday. So you could make that on Thursday if you want, or I've got cards to make. And I don't think you've met her yet, Geraldine. I don't think she was there last time, but anyway, she's coming this time. But she said, "Oh, I don't want to make a box. I just want to make cards." So I've got a whole range of stuff for you to choose from on Thursday, because I can't decide what you want to make, and you can sort of please yourselves. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let me just swap over to the desk view so you can see what I've got here. Apart from my coffee, I'll just move that. That seems to be very... Is that straight? I think it's straight. Right, I'm going to drink my coffee before we get started. But I just realised I don't think I've cut half the bits I need for that. Well, we'll see. Did I cut all the bits I need for that? No, I will need to cut some more bits, so that's fine. Just need a bit of, that'll do. That, and I need some bits for the centre of the card, which I just need to cut up. So I thought we'd have a play with the in colours today because they are completely gorgeous. And what do I want to do for inside? 9.5, yeah. I think I cut that the wrong way. Never mind, it'll be fine. Oh dear. Yeah, 9.5 by... I have cut that the wrong way. I've just wasted some card. Never mind, you always need extra bits of cards. It's fine. Might use that bit for the... Ooh, I'm just pulling everything over as well. That doesn't help. Did I knock that, or was it all right? Oh my goodness. I've got one bit for the inside. I can get another bit in a minute. Oh, here's another bit of card. I can use that. Just cut another bit for the inside. So my insides, I tend to do it a centimetre less, rather than a... Ooh, I'm going to be big enough. Just. I'll do as it is, actually. Oh, I think I'm getting to need another new blade in this trimmer. I go through blades on the trimmers at a ridiculous rate. That's probably because I do loads of crafting. Right. Okay, I think I'm ready now. Right, so today I wanted to show how you can use the lovely in-colour stuff. I know, Margaret, that you've got this because you ordered it, which is fine. This one I've actually made long... I think I've cut these the other way, but it doesn't really matter. You just need a card base. And I've used the in colour. I'm showing how to use these in colours. So this is the gorgeous peach pie. And I called them monochrome cards because they are a single colour card, just with basic white. So monochrome, when people say it, they often... I think sometimes they think, oh, it's... I'm black and white, just black and white. No, it can be any colour, but the point is it's one colour. Monochrome means one colour, not black, just any one colour. So monochrome. So I've gone for using this, for this one, for the one I've already made, the peach pie. I've used a peach pie base. You just need either half A4 lengthwise or half in the middle, scored in the middle, either at 14.8 or 10.5, depending on which way around you cut your card. And then you want a piece of DSP for the front, which is just a little bit less. Normally I do it half a centimetre less. I think there I've just done it 4 millimetres less. So I've actually done this at 10.1 by 14.4. So it's just 4 millimetres less than the actual card front itself. Then we need some scrap basic white to stamp the greeting bit and for the butterflies. And I'm going to show you how I actually did the butterflies, because I stamped them and coloured them, but I didn't use Stampin' Right markers or Stampin' Blends. I actually did it a different way, so I'm going to show you how I did that in a minute. I'm just going to finish my coffee before it goes cold. Normally I forget to drink it, and then by the end of the session it goes cold and it's horrible, so just excuse me for a second. Have you used your in colour stuff much yet, Margaret? There, get rid of the mug right out of the way so I don't knock it over anywhere. So I mentioned the DSP level that layer that I've got in this, and this is from the in colour pack. It's 6x6 designer paper, and it's got all 5 in colours in 2 different designs for each, and several sheets of each design. So we've got here we're pretty in pink. So we've got stripes and leaves, and the other design is dots. Dots, and then some sort of, I don't know, triangular pattern on the back. I'm not quite sure what you call that, but that's the pattern on the back of there. I just shot these across the desk. I've no idea how I did that. Just bring them all back, various bits that I've already cut. So we've got pretty in pink. We've got the same in peach pie, both different designs. With the two double-sided, that's the word I'm looking for, the double-sided designs. Then we've got Shy Shamrock, the sort of quite bright green. Petunia Pop, which is probably my favourite because I just love, purples and pinks and things. And then the final one, which is Summer Splash. So with all the different patterns on it. So those are all the in colours. There's all the bits. I've already used quite a few. But it's amazing how far it goes, because you've got, I don't know how many sheets of each pack. There's 40 sheets in total, so 8 sheets. So there's 4 sheets of each design in each colour. So there's 8 sheets in each colour of 2 different designs, depending on how you want to look at it. But that's the pack. It's beautiful stuff and so nice to use. Normally they'll bring out a different sort for next year for the same in colours. So it'll be a slightly different DSP possibly, or they might carry this one on. Who knows? I don't. So this was the card I originally made, and I've used the stamps that I've used for this. I seem to have lost. Where have I put it? Oh, that's really crazy. Have I got them there? No. Right, I just need to go and look for the stamp set. Where on earth have I put it? Oh, it's over there. Oh, I've got it out because we're going to play with it on Thursday, so that's why I've got it out. And this is the Labelled with Love bundle, which I absolutely adore. I wasn't sure about it at the start, but I'm a sucker for a punch. I love a punch. And the bundle, this particular bundle, comes either with the punch, which as you can see I bought the bundle that goes with the punch, or you can buy the stamp set and dies, and there are 3 dies which each cut the same shape. So I don't know, if you have the dies, you have to have the little mini machine or the big cut and emboss machine. So a punch on its own, obviously you don't need anything else with it. I don't know which is best. I personally like punches, although storage is becoming a bit of a problem because I've got so many of them. But I love them, won't give them away either. So this matches the set, and it matches this gorgeous frame that's in the set, which I particularly like. So we are going to use the frame. And I'm going to show you how I've just got some stamps on my blocks. I'll take them off for a minute. I'm going to show you how I put that on the block in a minute. Let me just leave it there for a minute. I also need the 2 butterflies. So you've got an outline butterfly, a stamp that does the outline. I seem to have used, I've got these out for another project. I need to put them away or put them on there for a minute. That'll do. And I need one more. Oh, I'll just use the same. I'll use the same block when I come to do it. I'll put it back in here for safety, actually. So we also need sentiments and things, but we'll come on to those at the end because I'll show you how to do it. So I want to show you how to pick up the frame stamp, because you obviously can pick it up and just drop it onto the block, and that'll stay fairly straight. But the best way to make sure it's straight with any of these stamps that have holes in, because they're not very stable, they'll sort of bend and twist and whatever. But if you drop it upside down on the desk, as if you were stamping on the desk, then you can put your block over the top of it and pick it up. and that'll make sure that it's nice and straight, because if you drop it on the desk and leave it, it'll just sort of sort itself out and take any strain off any bits and just be nice and correct, and then you can pick it up on the block. So that's just a little tip for any of our stamps that have got sort of edges with big holes in the middle, which can go a little bit out of shape if you're not careful. Drop them upside down on the desk as if you were stamping with it, and then pick it up with your block. And that just makes, certainly with these, for nice straight lines, we want them nice and straight. So let me just move that card out of the way. You've got a choice. We can either do Pretty in Pink or Petunia Pop, or both. I don't mind. Have you got a particular preference? Which would you like to do? I've used the Pretty in Pink paper. I've used the same paper as before, which is the Pretty Leaves. For the Petunia Pop, I've actually chosen the dotty paper, which is a little bit much on the eyes, actually, but by the time we've decorated, it won't be quite so bad. I don't know. I don't particularly like that side of it. Nah, I definitely prefer the dots, so we'll have the dotty side. Any particular one? Pink. Right, we'll go with pink, Margaret, because you've decided, which is fine. So, to make the card, as I say, card base, normal card base. These ones, I've just done the normal half of A4, so that's cutting it at 14.8 and scoring it in the middle at 10.5. The DSP is, as I said, I've just cut it not quite as small as I would normally cut it. So I've got a smaller border around the edge. So I've cut it at 14.4 by 10.1. So it's just 4 millimeters less than the actual size of the front. Then the center bit, the bit for inside the card. For the pink, you possibly don't need it. You could actually stamp and just write on the inside, but I think it looks nice with a little layer of basic white. So I've done that at I think that one I have actually cut it. No, I've done it at 13.8 by 9.5 to fit in there. So those are the bits you need. Then you need a scrap bit for your stamping. So I am going to embellish this as well, because we do have other wonderful coordinating things, including coordinating ribbon. So we're going to use a bit of that today. And we also have the coordinating gems, if I can find them. And they seem to have just vanished as well. Why have those vanished? Perhaps I left them over here. Sorry, I'll have to go and look for those as well in a minute. Oh, just not organised at all today. Where are my gems? No, those aren't they. I have lost my in-colour gems. That's not good. Okay, we may struggle to put the gems on because I seem to have lost them. They will be around, but I just don't know. I haven't put them in my gem box by mistake, have I? Let me just have a quick look and check. I've got purple ones in there. No. Oh, that's very interesting. I wonder where the heck they are. They could be anywhere in this place. It's a little bit messy at the moment because I've got stuff everywhere. How peculiar. How can I just suddenly lose a whole set of gems? I do not know where the gems are. Oh, that's annoying. Unless they have got somehow under here. No. Oh. Oh, hang on. There they are. Oh, they got in with my packs of DSP. That was a strange place for them to be. But these are the in-colour gems. So again, they coordinate all 5 colours again, and they coordinate beautifully. So, oh, those are last year's. Those are the 2003 ones. They're not the right ones. Ah, where are this year's? Those are last year's in colours. Ah, I still can't find this year's. We may have to do without gems today. I really must sort my shelves out because they're crazy. I've got them over here, have I? No, they have definitely vanished. I've no idea where they are, but they will turn up at some point. That is so strange. Anyway, never mind. I'm sure they'll turn up. How can I lose a whole pack of gems? Never mind. We'll be fine. So, labelled with my stamps, and I've got my stamps out. Let's do some stamping. So I've shown you how to put the stamp on here. So we just need the ink pad, which is also over there. This is because I was getting ready for the class and I put stuff out for the class and forgotten I actually need it now. So this is pretty in pink. So we're sticking to the same colour because these are monochrome cards, which is the whole point of showing you. So we need one frame. That's going to be for the sentiment. And then I can use this same block and we've got happy birthday just for you, thanks friend, enjoy today, you all have so many different sentiments. Let us might use thanks friend, why not? So something a bit different, we'll use thanks friend. I'm going to show you a different way to do this as well. So let's do thanks friend. So we'll have that in the middle here. There we go. And it's quite a small sentiment compared to the happy birthday I put on the other one, which nearly fills, where is it? So I'll show you, yes. The happy birthday nearly fills the box, so we don't need to worry about anything else. But this, I don't know, I think that looks a little bit empty, don't you? Needs something else on it. So I'm going to show you a little trick. I just realised I haven't got any nice clean paper, so we'll have to have a dirty bit of paper to do our stamping off. But what we can do to add on to the top of here is I'm going to ink up my butterfly, but I'm not going to stamp it direct. I'm going to stamp it off, and then I'm going to stamp it. I think we'll stamp it the main way around. There. Don't know if you can see that. It's quite faint now because I've stamped right off, but I just wanted a little something behind the thanks friend, so I've now got a butterfly behind it, which is just right. I like that. I might actually, perhaps I stamped it off too much. I might put a little bit more ink on it. The beauty of see-through stamps is that you can line them up and restamp. That's a little bit better. Okay, so you can see it a little bit more, but you can still see the words, which are obviously in a much stronger, much more strongly, I can't speak today, much more strongly stamped. So we're now going to stamp the butterfly again, and we're going to stamp it normally, and we're going to we'll have 3. I've said before about numbers on cards, and you're always better for main elements to have odd numbers. So either 1 main element or 3 or whatever, but not 2 generally doesn't go well, 4 doesn't go well. Odd looks better. So I've stamped my butterfly now 3 times. So we'll take off the main butterfly there. We'll take off the thanks friend. Oh no, I need the main butterfly again for the inside. I've got to do the inside while I was out. So we need our piece of basic white. I'll just use this one because I can't find the other one. Everything is now vanishing on my desk at a rate of knots. So on the inside of the card, I'm going to have the butterfly as well. So we'll have it just in the corner there. And also an envelope. Never forget to decorate your envelopes. So we're going to have a butterfly in the corner there as well. So I needed the outline on all of those. So I need to stamp it 5 times in the end. Goodness me. So thank you, Margaret. You find that a great tip. Good. Nobody else with us yet today. Normally Emma Lou comes and a few others, but never mind. It's fine. So now, to fill in these butterflies, I could use my Stamping Right markers or my blends, but they'd be nearly the same colour and you wouldn't see much difference. So I'm going to use that stamping off technique I've just used behind the sentiment to fill in the butterflies. So I've now got the infill stamp. I'm going to stamp it up, but I'm not going to stamp it direct. I'm going to stamp off on the paper and then stamp into the butterfly. I'm going to do all 5. So there's 1. So if I show you the difference between the stamped off one and the stamped in one, can you see? It's stamped the colour in, so instead of leaving it completely white, but it's left, you can still see the pattern very, very well. That's the whole purpose of this. So stamp off, and then stamp into the stamp. And the harder you stamp off, it doesn't pick up that bit. Let's do it again. There we go. The harder you stamp, the more ink will come off, and you want to leave just enough without too little to fill in your stamp. So it's just stamp gently and then fill in the stamp. Same with this, stamp quite gently, fill in the stamp, and the final time, stamp quite gently, fill in the stamp. There we go. So you can see how it leaves we've used exactly the same colour, but because we've used the stamp off technique, it looks much paler when you've used the infill, so that you still see the beautiful detail on the butterfly's body, which is what we actually want. And while I've got the stamp pad out, I'm going to use Enjoy Today, because I rather like that to go as the sentiment inside the card. And we'll use, sticking to our monochrome. There we go, Enjoy Today. Which is a lovely general sentiment to go inside a card. I really like this stamp set because you can make it work for so many different occasions. Right, let's get rid of that dirty piece of paper, which I use again and again because the pattern doesn't really matter. So to make the card up, just close that before I put my fingers in it. We're going to stamp out the thanks friend sentiment with using the punch. Or if you've bought the bundle with the dies, obviously you can use the dies to cut them out, but I think punches are often easier. So that punches out my sentiment. The butterflies, unfortunately, there is no die and there is no punch. So it's a matter of fussy cutting. That's okay. So you just have to bear with me a bit, put that card to the side, we can use it again. So when I'm fussy cutting, by the way, I don't cut right to the very edge. I leave a little tiny white border. It just looks better. If you wanted, you could cut it to the edge if that's what you prefer. But it also means that cutting around the antennae here, I don't have to be quite so careful because I'm leaving a little white border anyway, which means that I'm not cutting them off by mistake or managing not to cut them so you can't really see them. Because the white just helps you see the outline and it makes the outline stand out. And especially for our monochrome cards here, that's quite important. We don't want to lose these elements against the rest of the colour because that wouldn't look good. Doing this quite quickly because it's a bit boring watching people cut. And of course, if I had thought, I could have actually prepared these earlier. I've cut that quite close. I haven't left much of a border on that bit. Won't matter. So there's one. So yes, what's everybody been up to? What have you been making this week? Anything? Yeah, just cut around here. So again, for these antennae, I just sort of cut around the top of them, which gives a shape, but without risking cutting them so that they become so unstable or unsafe. They're a bit difficult to stick on. So I'm going to just come around here. And cut around the bottom here. Around the little sort of bottom of the body there, just a little bit. Again, you could go straight across there and not fuss around it. There's number 2, so only number 3 to do, and then I'll be back with you. I definitely should have prepared some of these earlier. That would have been taking a bit of time out, but never mind. You can see me make this whole card from start to finish. Still doesn't take that long. I'm cutting this one a bit closer, actually. I'm not leaving much white at all on this one. After just saying it would be better. Never mind. Get a bit of white left around the top, because otherwise I can't do the antennae very well. There's all our 3 butterflies. Cut out slightly quickly. But, so where I need your help now is, I just found the inside, there we go, I'd already done this one. Do we just do it like this one? Shall I just stick on the sentiment and the butterflies, or shall we have a little bit more embellishment? I'm very tempted to just have a little bit of ribbon around. So I am going to have some ribbon around just so I can show you, because I think that might look nice. Now, quite often I'll put a strip of ribbon and then put something like a bow on top or a knot. But I'm actually going to use just a couple of strips of ribbon and just see what that looks like. I always cut ribbon slightly diagonally because it does fray less. So I'm going to actually have a couple of strips and then put the sentiment across the middle. What do you think? Do you think that looks nice? Should we try it and see? Why not? Sticking ribbon, I always use tear and tape. It's a lot easier to use. Now, I'm not going to put a bow on or anything, so I can actually just put strips of tear and tape right across here. So I'm going to use the lines on my mat here to try and make sure that I have these on straight. So I'm going to have one against that line there. Hopefully that's straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. When it's a sort of pattern that isn't straight itself, it can be difficult to know if your ribbon's straight. So now I can use the line of the first, where I'm going to put the first ribbon, to make sure that's parallel. So there we go. Oh, I haven't left much there around that end. I might put an extra little bit on the back there to make sure I'm holding the ribbon properly. There. Okay, so I'll take that one off first because I put the extra little bit on. Then we can unwrap all of that, take that off, and put the ribbon on. So I start one side, stick it underneath, then I can wrap this across. Now the key is just be careful when you're putting this down to do it, because you don't want it to stick to the desk. So I sort of hold it in place and then rub a finger along, and that sort of keeps it nice and flat. It means it doesn't bend the ribbon and it doesn't bend the paper, because one of the problems when you're wrapping ribbon around paper is either it's too loose and moves, or it's too tight and starts to bend the paper. So just be a little bit careful with that. So one way to make sure you do that, I'm going to take off that end, stick this end of the ribbon on, and then I can take that off just as far as there, and then it won't stick to the desk while I hold that down and then rub my finger along it just to make sure it's lying flat. There we go. And then just simply tuck the other bit on. Now the beauty with ribbon, if it isn't quite straight, you can take it off again. You can peel it off from the back. I'll just show you with this. Mine's pretty good actually, but I'll just show you. Peel it off and then stick it down. If it wasn't quite straight, stick it down again. But that will give you nice flat ribbon, which is what you really want on if you're wrapping around DSP. And then we can stick this on the card. And the beauty of sticking the ribbon onto your layer instead of sticking it onto the card itself, it means you can hide the ends of the ribbon. You haven't got it coming around inside the card and looking either a bit messy or having to use lots more ribbon so it wraps the whole way around, which sort of wastes quite a bit of ribbon really. So often I'll add a bow on top or put an extra piece to tie a knot on, but I'm not with this because I've got enough other decoration going on this card. So we're going to stick the front on, making sure we've got the same border around top, bottom and sides. Make sure that's sticking down. I'll stick the inside in as well while I'm doing this. I did try and find one of my old butterfly punches because I was sort of rather hoping that the butterfly in one of the butterfly shape in one of the old punches would fit this new butterfly, but it doesn't. So, plus I've actually sold the punch, so it's a good job. I'd have been upset otherwise to find that. Right, so now we've got our decorations. So it just adds a little bit more to the card. Then we've got our main sentiment, which I'm going to put on using my dimensionals. So we'll just have a couple of dimensionals will do because it will hold that. Take the tops off. So we'll have that going across the centre, or as near the centre as I'm eyeballing, it's roughly right. Now, for the butterflies, I like to shape them a little bit, and if I can find it, our bone folders are a good way to do that. So I want the wings to come up, so I'm doing it sort of facing down and just using the bone folder around each wing, just to sort of, you see how it's just shaped the butterfly there. Yeah. Oh, somebody else just joined. Excellent. Hello, people. Don't know why I can't see them. Oh. Never mind. Do jot in where you're from and who you are. So that's my bent butterfly. So again, to show you do it, I'm doing it on the inked side of the butterfly, just to curve the wings up and give it a little bit of shape. So we'll do the other one as well. And then when I'm sticking these on, I'm just going to put dimensional in the middle, and I'm actually going to use my mini dimensionals, wherever they've gone. And I'm just going to use 2 of those down the centre of the butterfly. Oops, top's already come off that one. So that I'm not sticking down the wings at all, so they can stick up from the card, and that just leaves a little bit more dimension on the card. It's difficult to get dimension right on cards nowadays because you don't want too much dimension because it then costs the earth to post. But equally, you need a little bit because it doesn't look right without any. So we have to have a little bit. So here's my butterflies, and then it's just a matter of deciding where to put them on the card. So the other one, I had them sort of dotted around the place, so we'll do the same thing. I think we'll have one down in this corner. One, we'll have it matching in this corner actually. I'll take it a little bit further out just to make it a bit different, and then we'll have the third one flying up by the top of the sentiment. There we go. So there is my finished monochrome cards. This is monochrome in pink. As you know, I'd already done the monochrome in peach, the one I'd already started. I hadn't added the ribbon to that. The pink has got the ribbon added. What do you think? Think it adds to it? I quite like it. It's a little bit of different. Again, you can make a sort of whole series of these cards, each one slightly differently. And then if I could find my gems, which, as I explained, I've completely lost. I do not know where my in colour gems have gone. They were definitely here, but I've obviously put them somewhere, and I don't know what I've done with them. But anyway, I'm sure they'll turn up. But a few gems around there wouldn't go amiss. I'm going to have to use just ordinary rhinestones because that's all I've got at the moment. Oh dear. Actually, we should have done the purple one, Margaret, because one of the things in the new catalogue was these. They're gorgeous. They are, what do they call them? Purple fine shimmer gems. So there's a light purple and a sort of darker purple, and they're really rather nice. A very light purple, a mid purple, and a sort of darker purpley red colour. But they would go, I think, with Petunia Pop. Yeah, possibly. Anyway, we're not going to use those with pink. We'll use just some ordinary rhinestones. Wish I could. For those ones, those are champagne rhinestones. Yeah. I wish I knew where I'd put my in colour gems. Completely vanished. Never mind. Well, so we'll just have a couple of gems here. And again, same principle as before. You don't want to have odd numbers, even numbers. You want odd numbers. But because I've already got 3 things on here, 2 gems is actually not a bad answer because I've still got an irregular number. Do you see what I mean? So I've got 3 butterflies, 2 gems, that's 5. I've still got an odd number. So there is my new pink one. Here is my plain monochrome peach one with a little less embellishments. I don't know, what do you think? Which one do you prefer? They're rather fun. And as I say, never ever forget to stamp your envelopes as well. So I've got the butterfly as the inside the card and on the envelope as well. Don't like naked envelopes, as we say. We really don't want those. So I wish I could find my colour gems, but apart from that, everything's gone well. So there we go. I've got that. I've still got that purple one. I could finish that another time. We'll do the same thing with that probably. So then I'll have a set. And quite often I'll do a whole set. In fact, I might well do a whole set of these and then they're a present for somebody, which is quite nice. Always nice to have packs of cards to give as presents. I give those quite a lot because obviously it's a nice present to receive. It's a useful present, plus I love making them, so it's nice to have something to do with the cards you make. Okay, so those are my monochrome cards, and they're the ones that are going to be in the blog later on today, along with this video if you want to watch it again. But I also have a card I was starting to make this morning and hadn't finished, so I thought I would finish it while we're on the live. So this won't be in the blog, but obviously it'll stay as part of the live video, which would be good. But it's one of a set of cards that I need to find my blocks again and put these on. Where is my small block? There. I just need to put these on these blocks because I'm going to use these. There we are. There's those ready. And I'd already done quite a bit for the card. And this was using Layers of Beauty, and it was an online class run by another set of demonstrators that made some absolutely gorgeous cards. I'll show you those if I have time right at the end. But this was the third one, which I'm actually changing slightly because the one he made. Oh, hi, Carol. Another Carol there. Good name, isn't it? Nice to see you there. So he made 3 cards with these. I didn't like the colour scheme in the third one he did, so I've done my own thing. So I've also used the So Sincere. There are some nice sentiments in Layers of Beauty. Gorgeous set. This comes as a whole suite, by the way. It has dies which match the stamp set. So it's got this very, very large stamp, and it's got dies that will cut those out, and these small things, plus some extra leaves, which you'll see because I'm using them in this card. It also comes with a set of masks, which means you can colour this in. Let me show you the other cards I've made from that. Got bits stick to everything. Right, so these were the other 2 cards we've done. This was the first one he made, which I've done exactly as he did, using those lovely purple shimmer gems actually. But this one uses the big image just cut up and made a stepper card. It's not a stepper card, it's like a box. You made boxes for the bottom, and it stands upright, and it's got some depth because of the 2 layers stuck on. So that's one card we made. This was another one, and this is using the masks. So as you can see, you've got 3 different masks for the flowers, all the flower bits, and then you've got 2 different masks for the leaves, and you use blending brushes, rub them all over, and it produces the most gorgeous effects, as you can see, and colours them in beautifully without you worrying too much about where to put the colour. So I've used the masks again on this card in pinks and petunia pop, that is, Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. This time covered up these other flowers and coloured them separately, just with Stampin' Right markers or Stampin' Blends. So that's another way you can do it. And this time done the whole image and cut it up so that it's at top of the bottom of the card, and you can see it in a different way than the whole image together, like on this card. So this third card uses another way of playing with these cards even more. So I have done quite a lot of the preparation just to show you. Oh, and I need my giant block from just behind. Oh, behind where I put the. I do put the camera, the laptop camera, in just a very strange place. Never mind. So we need the large stamp from here. So you do need to have a large block to put it on. So this is our biggest block. Is it block F? Do you know, I'm never sure what number it is, but it's the biggest block you can get anyway. It is important to have one of these, to use these very large stamps. But actually, I'm not going to stamp the whole stamp. I'm only going to stamp part of it. So to make this card, you need a card base, and I've used Summer Splash here, and it's just the usual card base, 21 by 14.8, scored at 10.5, or in inches, 8.5 inches by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And then we need 3 bits of card, which are, I've written it on the back because I knew I wouldn't remember, 5.5 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres, and you need 3 of those. Then you need 2 other bits. This one is 4.3 by 13 centimetres. It's going to go down the middle. And this one we're actually going to trim down, and this one, the piece is actually, I can't read it because I've embossed on top of it, 5 by 11.7. Okay, 5 by 11.7. We're actually going to cut it down quite a lot. So, and I've just embossed that with an old gingham embossing folder, but any embossing folder you've got would be fine to do that. And I'm going to show you a technique for just making that stick out a little bit. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. So with this card, we only want the big flower. So we're only going to ink up just that bit of the, I mean, obviously I'll ink up other bits as well because it's impossible not to, but I'm only going to ink that part of the stamp. So it's mainly just that stamp. So I just want to make sure that that flower and these 3 leaves on top are definitely inked. The rest of it doesn't matter too much. So I'm going to get my copy paper out again because I don't want to get ink on the desk when I stamp this. And then when we stamp, we're actually just going to stamp, make sure that we've actually stamped this flower and the 3 leaves onto this bit of card. There we go. Because that's the bit we want. We don't care about any of the other of it. The rest of it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be stamped at all. We just want that flower and the leaves. And then I can colour them with just get my blends over here. So I've got my Peach Pie blends and my Summer Splash blends to colour them. So I'm going to start off with the light one. And remember that you've got the writing end and the sort of brush end. So I'm going to use the brush end because I'm going to do this really very quickly and just colour the whole flower. Just in the lightest colour of the ink. There we go. And then use the narrower end, the writing end of the dark colour one, just to fill in where there's a little bit of highlighting to go. So again, it's up to you. You could use the masks if you've got the whole set to work out where they've done the colouring. I just sort of guess. Anywhere that's overlapping anywhere else gets a bit of colour. So the back, the further back leaves will get a little bit more. Like this one here, or petals. They're not leaves, these are petals. It's a flower. I keep calling petals leaves. I've no idea why. I've done it in previous videos. I've done the same thing. Honestly, quite mad. That's probably about enough. It just gives it a little bit of depth. And then we're going to use the Summer Splash. No, what have I used? I can't even say it. Shy Shamrock I've used for this actually. So we're going to again use the light first and colour in the leaves. Shy Shamrock. I don't know, it's not like a shamrock colour to me. It's a bit brighter. Shamrocks aren't that bright when you see real shamrocks. But it is a nice bluey green, greeny blue. I don't know. Green. It is very green. It's quite a bright green, but I don't know. Is it shamrock coloured? I'm not so sure. So again, we're just going to do a little bit more highlighting of darker areas. Just do a little bit more 3D view, a little bit down near where it goes behind the flower. There we go. So very quickly, I've just done those just to show you. So that's the only bit we need to colour, because then we're going to cut it out. And the bundle comes with the dies, and it is this die that we can cut it out with. So we're just going to cut it out. Let me just get my machine. Ooh, without trying to knock everything over while I'm doing it. And get my... Ooh. Right, so use the right way around. I keep one of my plates I use to cut onto, and the other one I use on top. Don't always get it exactly right. So I'm just going to put the die around the image, get it exact, and use a little bit of low-tack tape just to hold it in position so it's not going to move. And then I put my other plate on top. Now, the key with using the mini cut and emboss machine, overlap the plates so they're not all running through at the same time. You want them a little bit sort of jiggered at the end, because I just find they go through the machine so much easier. If you try and put them through lined up, you seem to have a problem. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to want to go through when you've got them lined up properly. So if you just overlap the plates a little bit, I find it does go through, noise and bangs, a lot easier. Take that out, and then it can go back and sit on top of its plates and get out of my way. There we go. Too much on the desk today, but there we go. So that just cuts out beautifully, that image. Put the die back before I forget it. And what I do, by the way, when I get my dies, I usually leave them in the same case with my stamps, because that's obviously, they match the stamps. And I just very roughly draw around them so I know where they sit. Because I have had problems before. I've taken dies out, used them, tried to get everything back, and it just will not fit back in. So I find just drawing around the edges is really useful. So here's the other leaves that come. You've got these solid leaves, thin leaves, and you've got these ones that cut out a little design in the centre of the leaf. I've used these for this card. I've already cut those out to save a little bit of time as we put them together. So that has gone with the other. So you want to do 3. I've actually got 4 now, but I'll use 1 for inside the card probably. Here's the leaves that I've cut out, as you can see. Oops. Where's the other one? There. Oh, so fiddly to pick up. I'm going to put them against the card so you can see it. There we go. So you can perhaps see there, those are the leaves cut out with the dies. Beautiful dies. They're so just really beautiful. Right. So we want 3 of these for the card. I've also got a little scrap of black card. I'll do that while I'm here, actually. And I'm going to emboss the sentiment on here. And I'm going to use this one, which is So Thankful for You. It's actually from the So Sincere stamp set, which is just a stamp set of all different sentiments. And this So Thankful for You is the one I'm using. So I'm going to emboss it, which means I need to use an embossing buddy on the card. That's the first important bit. And then I'm going to stamp it in Versamark, just onto the black. There we go. Close that up and put it well out of the way, because we don't want to get any embossing powder onto there. And then I'll open my tub of white embossing powder, which I keep with these little plastic spoons, which just makes it so much easier to add the embossing powder to my image. I think I used my embossing buddy as well as I could, because there's a couple of little specks there that shouldn't be there, but never mind, it'll do. There we go. Close that up so I don't spill it somewhere else, and get my heat gun, and we can watch the beauty that is embossing. So I just try it on me till it's hot, and then I can apply it to here. Do this end so I'm not burning my fingers. And I'm hoping you can see it go. You see it? Turn it round to do the other end. You see it turn and just melt. Turn that off. And there we have the embossed sentiment, which I'm going to add to the card. So the final thing I'm going to do with the card is this embossed sheet that I'm going to cut down in a minute. I am actually just going to use a little bit of sponge and my Shy Shamrock ink pad. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of ink on there, just by dabbing it all over my ink pad. And then using my spare paper, dab it off a little bit before we start, and then just very gently I'm going to rub it over the image that I've embossed, because it just brings it out, shows it up a little bit. Now in the class, he actually used, trying to bend your card as you're doing this. And you can put on as little or as much as you want. I just like a little bit of colour in there. There we go. Just showing up the pattern. So there we go. Close that up before I get ink everywhere. I've almost certainly got some ink on my fingers from that. Not too bad. Oh, got it on my nails. Get those off. There we go. Not too bad. Normally I get far more on me. Right. So I'm going to cut these down. I'm going to make 3 little squares from this. So I can choose which bits I think I've coloured best. So I'm actually going to cut off most of this side because, no, I'm going to cut a little bit off both sides, I think. So we'll cut some off that side. And I'm going to make these squares 3.5 centimetres. So I'm putting a little bit off both sides and then cut it into 3 squares. Again, each 3.5. So I can use the right-hand side for my trimmer. And cut off 1, 2. I will have a bit over, but that's because when you put card through an embossing machine, it often just shrinks it just a tiny bit. I'll have that side, right? No, I'll have that bit. Trying to decide which end of the coloured bit I wanted. I'll have that bit. Okay, so I've got a little bit left over, but cutting the card in the way I said to 11.7, it just gives you a little bit extra, so that if the card does shrink a little bit as it goes through the embossing machine, which it often will, then obviously you can just get rid of it. So to finish this off, I'm using the tiny flower from the stamp set. The tiny flower, a sort of slightly more mid-sized flower, and then the huge one. I'm just going to, again, this is Shy Shamrock on my Summer Splash base, and I'm just going to very randomly stamp this, going on and off the page a little bit, getting ink everywhere. So I'm not being very careful here, but just sort of randomly in the corners of this, that'll probably do. I've just stamped that little tiny flower. And then I've also, this is going to be for the centre of my card and my envelope. I've actually already stamped the envelope. I'm using the other flower and I've just coloured it in. So I'm going to do the same on the inside of the card. Don't want to use that. Why was I just about to use that? Because I'm colouring it, I need to use Memento, which is under my hand. Thought I'd lost it. It's actually under my hand. Just like that. And then I'll colour it in just with these as they're on the desk. So I'll just use, again, my Shy Shamrock pens, just to colour this in very quickly. Perhaps not terribly well, but well enough. Just add a little bit of depth with the darker Shy Shamrock. There we go. And then we'll do like peach I want. I'm going to do just the petals in the peach. This is not a monochrome card. We were doing monochrome before. This is not monochrome. As you can see, it's got different colours in it, but and then just the centre and the dark. We'll leave it at that, I think. Move that out of the way. Okay, so that's going to be on the inside of my card, and I've actually done it that way, which is a bit stupid because the card's supposed to be lengthwise. Right, I may have to redo that, but you can see how I've done the inside. I should have done it in the other corner, in this corner. I might put an opposite one in, and then it will be fine, actually. I'll worry about that later. So my strip, I'm just going to stick down the centre. 4.3 by 13. So I don't forget. I haven't got the instructions for this on my blog, and they won't be because they're not really part of my monochrome one. But if you're interested, I'll give you these. I have given you these sizes. So there's the main strip, and then these, because they're square, I can just. Oh, I need to decide crosswise or yeah, crosswise. I'm just going to stick these on and leave much the same border around each. So again, I'm not going to use dimensionals because I've still got other bits to go on the card. I'm just going to use some glue to stick these down. I think in the actual tutorial he used dimensionals, but no, I'm just going to use glue. So I haven't done those very well, I might. And this is the beauty of using glue because I can move these slightly. Just move the centre one a bit. So it's more in the middle. And this one slightly more to the bottom. And then I've got the same gaps here and then slightly bigger ones top and bottom there, which is I'm happy with. Could do these as rectangles, fill that in a bit more if you wanted, but I've got so many other things to stick on here. I don't think it matters. So I've got my sentiment and then 3 of these. Which colours shall I use? I think we'll have a couple up there and perhaps this one down here and my sentiment about here. Yeah, I think that looks quite good. So I'm going to stick one of these down. Where's my glove there? So I'll stick one of them down flat. I'll have it like that. Then we'll have the other colour, the peach pie coloured one. And we'll have that here, just overlapping a little bit. I'm going to put my sentiment up on dimensionals as well. Which I might have just here actually. Level with the edge of the card just to be different. And this one will have just flat. So I'll have this one like that. And then we've got a few extra little leaves just to add a little bit more interest to the card. So put a few little dabs of glue on those. And we'll have one coming out from here, stuck over there. Little dabs on that one, which we'll have. Let's have it coming out of this. So thankful. It's coming up there. Ooh, put a bit too much glue on that. And then I've got these little tiny ones, which again, slightly less glue, that's better. Have one there. And the final one is coming out of here. There we go. So there is my So Thankful for You. I've got my middle bit, which is look all right that way around actually. I've also got a spare one of these, which I could also use inside. Yeah, I might just use that inside actually. Oh, I don't know. Might just use that. What do you think? No, I think I might just leave my flower like that. That would do. I think I can stick it in that way around. It will look all right. So I've got a spare flower, which I can keep. If I do things like that and have extra of anything, I keep them in the stamp case so that when I open the stamp again, I've got an extra something to use on a different card. So what do you think? Do you like that? I personally like that much more than I did the previous one that with the colour scheme that was used. I just like these because I do think these in colours, they go so beautifully together. So that was a little extra card for you. I'll just put that to one side. The ones we focused on today were our monochrome cards, which I've put to one side and can't now find. But I hope you enjoyed that. Have a think about getting these beautiful in colour things. I don't know where I put the monochrome cards now. Oh, there they are, under there. So yeah, so we made that one. I've got these bits to make up. I'll make one here. So we've got the choice really of ribbon or not. That's the decision that I need you to think about. I don't know. I quite like both. I'm going to make the third one a little bit different again. And if I can find my in-colour gems, I'll use those. I wish I knew where I put them. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. We need to go now. I've been on a long time today, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you again very soon. I can't remember. It's either next week or the week after. Unfortunately, I can't run one of these. I'm going to have a couple of weeks off. I've got various other things on. I can't do these. You like both, Carol. Thank you. Yeah, I like them both. They're just slightly different, and that's the whole point. I can make different ones. Anyway, I shall see you again hopefully next week. It is in my emails. I'll be putting in when I am having my break. So do have a check on the emails. Sign up for them at craftycarolscards.co.uk. Sign up for my emails. Let me put me back rather than just look at the cards. There we go. Oh, no, I don't. Yes, I am. There I am. Yeah, thank you for joining me today. Do sign up for my emails, and then you'll know when I am running these sessions live on my Facebook page and YouTube channel. Plenty of other videos to view on the YouTube channel and the blog. And the blog for these monochrome cards will be out later today when I've finished it. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.